All right, so here we are with another football video about the Alabama Crimson Tide's 2016 football team. Today I'm going to discuss the front seven depth. And so last year, all the media analysts, all the sports writers, all the big time college football guys were making a big deal about Alabama's front seven depth. They had like seven defensive linemen that can rotate in at all times to, accommodate for the situation and to give breaks. They also had many pass rushing outside linebackers and great middle linebackers, and the defensive depth was great, and it carried Alabama through the season. Well, based on just a small sample of things that I've been looking through so far, I'm going to kind of discuss whether or not that situation will play out again for this football season, because Alabama did have a few departures in the offseason going to the NFL draft and graduation and whatnot. So I'm going to discuss it and we'll see what happens. So one thing I like to talk about first is that last year there were seven defensive linemen, specifically defensive linemen, not counting the outside linebackers right now. There were seven defensive linemen who were rotating in. We had A'Shawn Robinson, we had Jarran Reed, you had Darren Lake, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and so I wrote down some here, Deshaun Hand, and Dalvin Tomlinson. So that was seven people. We lost three of those guys. We lost A'Shawn Robinson, lost Jarran Reed, and we lost Darren Lake. That leaves four of those returning defensive linemen to play. Alabama plays three defensive linemen at a time, meaning that the only other proven player who shows depth from last year is Dalvin Tomlinson, and he is the only one back. So there are four experienced players from that deep depth chart on the defensive line from last year. So people are saying Alabama's going to be just as deep this year. Well, the problem is that, we have four. Last year we had seven, so we're missing at least three more guys who can provide that same amount of depth. Now, that's not to say Alabama doesn't have bodies. Alabama does have plenty of recruits, plenty of defensive linemen that they've brought in, and I'm going to talk about some of those guys soon. But they haven't proven anything yet. So we have to hold off before we say that the defensive line depth is going to be as good as it was last year. Also, I'm going to bring up we have O.J. Smith and we have Josh Frazier, who were defensive linemen on the team before, and they haven't played as much. So we'll see what they can do now. And just to highlight some of these recruits that have come in from the last 2 years. So we have Mickey Brown, Terrell Hall, Raekwon Davis, Quentin Williams, and a few others, some who maybe haven't gotten on campus yet and maybe have some problems with academics. We'll see how that shakes out. So we have a whole bunch of bodies coming in, but we'll see how they play on the depth chart and see if they can actually make an impact there and provide that depth that we had last year. And so some will also mention, well, you don't have to have as many defensive linemen if you got all those outside linebackers pass rushing as well. Well, let's see how many we actually have. So we have Tim Williams, outstanding, great pass rusher, situational last year and made 10.5 sacks. Then you have Ryan Anderson, who's returning, who had a few sacks as well last year and was a great pass rusher, great run stopper. And we have Rashaan Evans, who was a great pass rusher, had 2 sacks against Clemson. So we have 3 proven outside linebackers from the team still here who are great at pass rushing and can defend and run a bit. And but we don't have much behind them as well as you continue to look through the depth chart. So we have to count on these guys to stay healthy. The starters have to basically, stay on top of the game and try not to get injured. Otherwise, we have to put in some of these unproven guys. We do have Anthony Jennings and Christian Miller, who have played great in the spring game, and they provided great hope for the future with their pass rush. So we'll see what they can do when they get some playing time this year. So hopefully they can step in and provide some of that missing support. But even as we keep going, we have the middle linebackers. We have 2 proven middle linebackers because we lost a few. We also lost Dylan Lee last year, who played a little bit of both inside and outside linebacker. But we have Reuben Foster and we have Sean Dion Hamilton. So I know for sure that those 2 linebackers can play. They've played and they've done well the times that they've been in for Alabama. But behind them, we're pretty low on depth. I know we have Keith Holcomb, who's been in the program for about 3 years now. And I'm pretty sure he knows the playbook and he can probably step in and play. But outside of that, I'm not sure who will. I know we brought in 2 great linebackers this year. One of us injured already, but one of them also was brought in to play inside linebacker. But besides those ones I just named, Sean Dion Hamilton, Reuben Foster, and Keith Holcomb, I'm not sure about who we have afterwards. And like I said, Alabama always has recruits who are recruiting well. It's just whether or not they'll be ready to step in and provide depth just in case someone gets injured, someone's tired, you need to switch out. There were games last year where Alabama they would have 11 other guys on the field ready to sub out just in case the offense did something they weren't expecting. This year, they're going to have to do a little bit of extra work to see if they have guys ready who can actually do that. And so, thus is the question concerning Alabama's front seven depth this year. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if I missed anything. And if you want to see me do another video on another topic, let me know.